Okay, hello and everyone, and welcome to our first Mostly Harmless meeting focused on our new chapter in ArcheAge. Tonight we have several people here to help introduce the chapter. You all know my co-counsel, Cami,
Hey.
and we've got our guild PR officer, Vixen,
Hi guys.
and the officer, Dridden, who is the chapter lead for ArcheAge. He's got a cool picture set up. He doesn't have a webcam just yet, but there he is. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. You got a neat bubble effect. I don't know if you can see it around when you talk, so it's very cool.
No, I can't.
So, like a sports league branching out into a new city or a business creating its first additional franchise, we're going to test the waters here with some new developments. We have founding officers and council that created the guild. We need members to actively head up new chapters with support from us. Occasional direction to stick to MH philosophy, and enough freedom to take ownership and get their own sense of pride from creating a great new chapter. Dridden has done many hours of volunteer work with the guild in the HR department and stepped up to create the foundation guidelines and recruitment posts for ArcheAge. He's calm, mature, he doesn't jump to conclusions, he takes his time building consensus on decisions and is humble enough to admit when he's made a mistake and to work his way from there. Cami and I will work closely with him as well as the other guild officers, and we'll move forward together on this new chapter. We want to keep the mostly harmless feel to it. He knows it's an experiment of sorts that will be molded partly as we move forward and figure this out. We'll build consensus with him on important decisions and retain veto powers as MH Council. Don't expect to ever need them, though. As council, in conjunction with guild officers, we help maintain the code of conduct rules and support the development of the chapter. Dridden, though, is in charge of the overall goals and planning of how we will have fun and be successful in ArcheAge. Great to have you here, Dridden. One of the first things you've been working on is talking to everyone and gathering survey results for interest in ArcheAge. What were those results?
Well, I'll talk about those results, but I just wanted to thank you and let you know that I will continue to make Mostly Harmless a serious contender, and hopefully we'll be a top-tier guild in ArcheAge. I am going to be covering a lot of information, and if people have questions, just save them for the end. Open up maybe a notepad and save them. But as far as the survey results go, I'm just going to link here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to link in channel. And you guys can pull that up. You should be able to see all the results except for the written comments and things like that. So the survey was spurred from the need to bridge a gap. We had ultra-hardcore members and some more laid-back members, but I needed to get an accurate look on what the consensus was in regards of what direction the guild wanted to move together. We did have a lot of responses. I think there was 43 last I checked, and I'm really thankful for that. So I'll just go over the results quickly. The first question was related to how much time people will have to play the game in the weeks following launch. As you can see, there will be no shortage of playtime. We should have lots of people around to get the guild up and running ASAP. I was surprised at the amount of people that chose 41 plus hours, so that's awesome. Question 2 was about faction preference. It was brought up on the forums that this might be a concern, so I wanted to make sure it was properly addressed. I wouldn't want to make a decision for the guild when most of the guild isn't on board. So as you can see, the results lean toward the Eastern faction, but I will return to this subject very shortly. Question 3 gave everyone the opportunity to show us what people want on an individual basis. It shows that people are most excited about naval warfare, and then small and large scale PvP nearly tied for second place. You can see on the far right side there's kind of like a weighted value to make it easier to see what's winning. Basically, what I see there is that we want all types and sizes of PvP. So really happy to see that, and we'll be sure to deliver on that for sure. Question 4 was the big question. This is the one that would shape the way that we enter into ArcheAge. As you can see, the scales are tipped fairly heavily towards the more hardcore end of things, which is totally fine with me. We're making all of our plans around this. I want to be able to go as hard as we can at launch without anyone feeling like the game has become a chore or a job. It's a tough goal, and it will require a lot of balancing, but I'm optimistic that we can achieve that. And we will cover more on this soon. Question 5 covered what you wanted as a guild's priorities to be in ArcheAge. It echoed basically what we saw in question 3. You want the guild to focus on naval superiority. You want to get into the northern continent. And of course, you want to have fun. And we will be putting a lot of effort into these areas. We had a lot of good feedback in the comments sections, and we will be taking all of that into consideration as well. Someone was kind enough to point out that I spelled "lounge" wrong in every single question. So, now for a bit of an announcement. I spent long hours discussing and pondering on the subject of which faction will roll at launch. And aside from all of the logistical advantages, the guild survey shows what you want, and I've been speaking with some of the guild officers, and we're getting to a point where we really need to make a decision because it will be difficult to make any further progress in the alpha not knowing what's going to happen. So with no further ado, we will be playing the Eastern faction at launch. This is basically set in stone at this point, but if you have any further questions on it, again, you can bring that up at the end. So we definitely have some PR events coming up. Why don't we go ahead and see what Vixen has to say about that?
All right. Well, our first PR event for ArcheAge is going to be this weekend, and it's going to be on Saturday, May 10th, and it's going to involve PvP. So the first event will be broadcasted on our Mostly Harmless Twitch channel, which is this one you guys are all watching right now. So make sure you follow it. And then first we will have a podcast interview with Richard Garriott, aka Lord British. It'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 7 p.m. Central. Make sure you show up. Again, he's got his information on our homepage of our forum, so check those out. And then following the podcast at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will host the first of many ArcheAge Fight Clubs featuring 1-versus-1 fights and duels with our favorite announcer, Rook, and maybe a surprise guest anannouncer, we'll see.
Where I can drag somebody in with me.
Yeah. We're taking, people if you're interested. And this fight night will take place at Mirage Island. Rules, never talk about Fight Club. Oh, wait, so I just broke that one. So let's move on then. For the first matches and class discussions, we're going to keep the rules pretty loose. Anyone can challenge someone within 5 levels of them. We do value humble and... wait a minute, I just skipped down. Okay, sorry. With extra oohs and ahs being given to... Thanks, Rook. He highlighted it for me. He's great. Good teamwork. So with extra oohs and ahs being given to lower-level characters, beating higher-level ones, you're welcome to join us on TeamSpeak as a guest for the night to discuss your build and fighting style with the live Steam audience. We do value humble and mature attitudes in our TeamSpeak, but this also is a show, so you can ham it up a bit. Please follow the Twitch channel, post and chat and promote it. Be logged on to the Twitch channel this Saturday night. If you're available, just log in just to show we have numbers and give a shout out just to support our guild. And just make sure you don't spam, keep it to a minimum. Have fun, and as Rook says, we'll see you on the battlefield.
Awesome.
That's good.
So nice, Vixen. Really looking forward for these PvP events. It's going to be fun. We like to do a lot of things together and mostly harmless. And the event is definitely something that makes this guild different because we have a lot of things that we do together and it's fun. Now we're going to go back on the ArcheAge subject. Well, there's a lot of things that are really exciting about ArcheAge. The main thing being the PvP that Vixen just talked about. In ArcheAge, it's open world, it's complete freedom. You can do good or bad actions, and you can pay the consequences for it, like getting in jail and what's not. But another really important point about ArcheAge is going to be the crafting. For those who haven't tried the game yet, crafting in ArcheAge is amazing. Like you literally need to. It's really immersive. Like if you want to build a boat, you have to go like cut some wood, plant some crops to get cotton and make the sails. You have to go mine to get the iron to make the rivets and all that. And there's a synergy between like everyone that crafts. Like if I want to make a fishing rod, I'm gonna need like a wooden reel from a machinist, or I'm probably saying that wrong,
No,
and you guys are gonna make fun of me. And you need and you can need like a bamboo stick from a carpenter and all that. It's really nice to have like everyone work together. And I think for a guild like ours in the community that like to play together, that like to help each other, that's the perfect game for us. And especially that we love PvP. But we love crafting too, and crafting is going to be a huge responsibility in ArcheAge. The success of the game is going to depend on it. So we really needed someone that we really need a lot of members to get involved into crafting, like people that likes it. Definitely need a lot of people who are going to put time researching and finding out what's the best. But we also need like a crafting lead that's going to plan everything, and someone that we can trust, because it's a really like a pillar in this game. And for this task, we have chosen no one else than Pedro. So congratulations, Pedro. You're our new crafting slave. So you've been chosen to be the crafting captain. Of course, we asked him his permission before making him our slave, because that would be inappropriate otherwise, right? So now I will let Dridden elaborate a little bit about what is a captain position in a guild.
Yeah, strangely, Pedro was really into that whole slave idea. Sorry, Pedro.
He's just such a good guy.
So with the new chapter comes new responsibilities, of course. And I do have a few positions that I'd like to try and fill before launch. I have a little document here that I'm going to link, and it's just it goes over a bit of that there. So basically, this is the first time this guild is split into two distinct official chapters, and it's been decided that there'll be game-specific officers, which we'll call captains, and then there'll be guild officers who encompass the entire guild. Pedro is special because he gets to be both of these, but it should be noted that you don't need to be a guild officer to qualify for being an ArcheAge captain. As far as these captain positions are concerned, you can take a look at that document there, and I'll go over. The big thing that I need right now is a PvP captain. The PvP captain would research builds, PvP mechanics, and siege tactics. You would work with the member base to help them to be as useful in PvP as possible. You would be in charge of all siege activity, hold PvP events for both fun and training. You would choose to designate archetype leaders to research builds and mechanics for different character roles, be in charge of overseeing any spy operations to gain intelligence of the enemy, and you'd be in charge of training and providing guild mercenaries to guard trade runs. Very important position, and I would like to fill this within the next couple of weeks if the appropriate people apply. Below that, I have wants. Those are positions that if people are interested, I would like to fill them. They're not 100% necessary. They could be filled by other people, but you can certainly read those and see if one of those would be of interest to you, and I would definitely like to hear back from you. So we're going to be trying to make a more concerted effort to push to get to the end game content in the alpha. The sooner I can fill some of these positions, the faster we can get to the northern continent. The positions are not a dibs situation, but I will take anyone who's interested into consideration, and it may require an interview. Rook and Cammy and other officers will likely be aiding in these decisions. If you want to be considered, please send me a PM on the forums with a paragraph or two about why you think you should be considered and any ideas you'd have for the particular position that you're looking for. Cammy's gonna talk to us a little bit here about the loot.
All right, let's talk about what we all love, the loot. We're currently working on a plan about resources management and how we're going to deal with it. Like some guilds are going to decide to donate everything, other guilds will be just, everyone do what they want. But we're currently working on a system that we think is going to work really well for us, that just, something that's going to be in between and it's going to fit with our guild mentality. So we don't want to micromanage everyone, and we want people to have their freedom, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we have everything to achieve our goal and to be able to help our crafters. So I'm going to let Dridden talk to you a little bit more about this system.
Okay, great. Yeah, we're pleased to see how everybody's been interacting in the alpha, but moving closer to launch, we're going to be testing and evolving a point system, which we've been calling contribution points amongst ourselves. When the guild needs particular materials, we're going to offer some CP contribution points to the members who go out of their way to provide them. These contribution points will be usable in situations like having the ability to bid on a rare drop like the Black Pearl schematic, or first dibs on house placement inside the Northern Keep. It'll be a little bit of incentive to help the guild out with items that we would otherwise have a hard time getting. This is very much in the planning phases, and it will be quite basic as we can, because we don't want to micromanage everything, like Cami said. It will likely cover 10 or so item types at a time maximum, and the points will only be given when something is specifically asked for by guild leadership, so people won't be able to farm them to excess. We can also go over a quick but very important note after getting about getting gear crafted. You will want to break down all green and above gear, weapons, jewels that you don't need, and save all the dust and shards. There will likely never be a point in the foreseeable future that these won't be needed, so definitely keep them. We'll certainly, for those who aren't in the game, just ask for a reminder on this because it might not be incredibly clear. But for metalworkers and tailors, you're going to want to provide your own materials to get things crafted when you're sending them to, when you're asking for things from the metalworkers and tailors. This is true for alpha, and it will be true for launch. Mining some iron or growing some cotton is really easy. The exceptions to getting things created would be leatherworking and handicrafting. Anyone leveling is going to get pelts. All pelts we'd like to try and send them all to the leatherworkers because not everybody wears leather. We're not going to need to. Basically, nobody has a use for it besides the leatherworkers. So also handicrafters will need all the green dust and crystals, just the crystals you get from mining. Those are also not needed for anything else, so please pass it along. Are you keeping notes yet? This is important. Don't worry, we'll remind you. But the most important thing to note is our crafters will not be going broke to provide you with gear.
Yeah, so basically, like everything is, like Druden said, is easily farmable. And before launch, we'll help you. We actually are building threads like this one, the one that I just linked here in TeamSpeak. So you see there's a table, and it shows you like for each tier, because you want to upgrade your tier. Basically, for people who didn't play ArcheAge ever, in ArcheAge, crafting gear is the best, and you get crafting gear at level 20, and there's no need to skip level 20 because you need the gear level 20 to go to 24 to upgrade it to 30 and then 34 and so on. So you have to get those crafting gear. So basically here I'm telling you what you're going to need to get your gear, and so you can plan in advance what you're going to try to get to. So like when you ask a tailor, hey, I need gear, you don't need to ask him, hey, what do I need? Like, you can just press O, and then you go look in tailoring, and then you're going to see everything that you need to send him. But to make it easier for you guys for your planning, we're building tables like that so that you can plan and you can know exactly ahead of time, okay, I'm going to need to grow cotton, I'm going to need to have X amount of blue dust, and I'm going to need clover or whatever you're going to need. So it's all written there. These are all things that are super easy to get by yourself. So it's going to help the crafter if you guys know in advance what you're going to need. So we're here to help.
Yeah, I know Kodiak's going to do some nights too, and some other people are going to stream some nights, just Q&A, and they're going to show everything. Like there will be all this kind of good stuff that we're talking about, and that we're having in lists for you, and you'll be able to see it, and you'll be able to refer to it. None of the beta weekends, you'll really be able to perform really well.
Yeah, because there's a lot to say about it, and we won't do it all in this meeting here. Yeah. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I mean, it's a deep game. It's visually pretty appealing, but it's classic MMO. But then you start getting into the game, and there's this whole other layer of depth that has interested a lot of us to explore it as one of the next big chapters. So, I guess code of conduct stuff now, eh, Cami?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the actions we take in games have consequences. If we behave like bleep, we'll end up attracting players who behave like assholes, and it's a downward spiral from there. If we act immature, we may lose potential allies in this and future games. In sandbox games like EVE, a few of us probably remember hating enemies so bad that we laid 24-hour siege to their homes for 30 days until they finally just dissolved into nothing. That we were trying to break a group because they were hated so much. We don't want to be that hated guild. A healthy respect, maybe even a little fear sometimes would be great, and it's a sandbox game, it's competitive. You're not gonna sit by and say, oh no, it's your turn to take the iron there. You're gonna take the iron there, you're gonna try and claim the best lands, you're gonna do various things. But we and just like an ESO, we do want people, when they see us coming, what we heard from the AD and EP on the one server was, yeah, don't worry too much about that one group, but when I see those blue Daggerfall Covenant guys coming, I start thinking about going the other way, and we want that kind of respect in this game as well. In the guild code of conduct, it says represent the guild with good sportsmanship, whether it's posting on forums, streams, or just playing in game. I think it was Harper the other day said to me that, yeah, don't do anything that if they knew your real name and address, you wouldn't do it, right? We talk in TeamSpeak about how, okay, well, we're adults. You can swear a little bit, of course, whatever, but keep the chatter to stuff that you would stream on Twitch, because we stream a lot. So keep to that level of maturity. Keep a positive game environment. So on that note, I think, Cami, you got some examples here, or do you want me to go through the examples of specifically for this game?
I can do it.
Sure.
But yeah, I just wanted to add, for people like me who never played a sandbox game and always been playing MMO before, this is really new because we're used to whatever I can kill, I kill. In this game, if it's red, if it's enemy faction, it's dead, just like any MMO game. But there's people who can turn against their own faction, and you're questing again, next to another guy is green, and all of a sudden he turns red and he starts attacking you, and you're like, what the hell? Or maybe purple, but whatever. And at the beginning, I was like, man, I'm just going to kill everyone. And then I realized maybe that's not nice. There's people already in alpha who are really acting I'm not going to say the word douchebag, but I just did. And they're already starting to get a lot of aggro out of the community. And we came to this reflection. Do we really want to be like that guild that Rook was talking about, that everyone hates? And
Bob.
Obviously that's not what we're looking for. So especially with our allies, we want to respect our allies. We want to make sure that, we're cool with them. So red is dead. Let's try to not attack green people. But don't attack people of our own faction if they didn't attack you first, or if they're not on the red list, because we're gonna have people on the red list. If people come to kill us, we're gonna kill them back. We're not gonna stay there and not do anything. We're gonna have definitely people on our red list, but let's try to be nice with people who are nice with us. And the exception would be maybe when we go in the northern continent, where it's really everyone against everyone, but that's a known rule. And what I was going to say, if someone steals your crop, you've planted this wild forest, you planted plenty of sapling, and someone is stealing it, of course you can kill him. teabagging and talking shit in zone chat is not acceptable. Come on, like we're all adult here. I don't think I need to tell you guys that because I really doubt that any of you guys would do that, but we still need to say it's a rule just in case someone would say you didn't say it. If you want to steal, you find this big forest and you want to steal it because it's nice, it's more wood, no problem. I mean, like it's in the wild. People plant things out in the wild. It's fair game. It's like if they drop loot, it's acceptable. They plant stuff in the wild. They accept the risk that it might be taken. Like that's the game. Maximize land grab for the guild, of course. Did you mean something by that, Rook? Because that seems obvious.
Yeah. I mean, it's a competitive game. I'm just saying that while there's things that we're going to try and space our plots out to maximize land grab and stuff, so it's nothing new there.
Okay.
Most of that, I think, is old. Yeah.
We're gonna make enemies by doing that. I think is probably
for sure.
where we're good, because we're gonna be grabbing land. Other people are gonna want that land. They're gonna be pissed that we're grabbing mass amounts of land at launch. We're gonna make enemies doing that, but that's well within our plans and well within our rules.
Oh, and I'm pretty sure other guilds have the same plan as us, so it's gonna be a war to grab land. That's for sure. Making profit is fine, but be fair with guildies. If people have been, like, if we're trying, like, guild is helping you to level, like, don't charge guildies for crafting. Like, you can charge them the money it took you for mailing or for the vendoring mats, but let's be fair between each other and, like, not screw each other up. Reneging on a deal with anyone in game and you're out. Like if you tell people, give me like 5 gold and I'm not gonna kill you and gonna let you do your trade pack runs, you're supposed to hold your word. If you're not, then you're out. We don't want liars here. And that's something that we didn't mention earlier, but out in the sea, it's free for all. I mean, if people are there, they're taking the risk. And yeah. Abusing the report. Abusing the report feature is unacceptable. We haven't seen that at all on our side, but I've heard on the other side that some people are abusing the report button to do false report on people and then get them kicked out of their boat and destroy it. So just added that to our rule to make sure that we don't have people that have that idea. And that's pretty much it. It seems like. Just a reminder about something. In our rule, we say, like, don't share guild strategy. And so if you share the guild strategy, okay, it was not so bad. But in ArcheAge, we're going to have really sensible information. It's a different game. And we really don't want our strategy to go to other guilds. So please, 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 whatever we're going to post in the ArcheAge forum stays within the guild. And and one last thing, in ArcheAge, people have properties. They're going to set their permission to either family, guild, or personal. If you go around and you see a property of a guildie that has a permission, like you see, oh my god, like I can cut this tree. Well, don't do it. It's not your tree. It's someone else. So like unless he asks you to do it, like don't touch other people's properties. That's it.
Yeah, that's good. I think an important point to note here too, and Dryden and Cami and I and the officers have talked about, and the members even, we don't, of course, know all the answers yet. We're just proposing some guidelines up there as to give examples of what the tentative code of conduct is at the moment. Some of that might change as we explore the game. Like at first we thought, it should be just open, and then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, people are getting really upset at this one particular guild. And everybody would be against them, and that's going to be hard for people in the community and would damage them in other games potentially. Like already there's guilds that were like, I would never work with that guild in any game because of the way they behave. So we don't want to be that way. This will fluctuate a little bit as we get to know the game better and the community, but it is coming together nicely. Next focus, level. We need to level and begin testing the game so the people that are in the alpha we're all guilty of just having some fun. That's great. Exploring, learning the game, etc. To achieve our next goals, we do need to test a couple of things. We'll need a sizable force to book it for level 50 and get that done. But that part we'll discuss privately off stream as to what our starting strategies are. This is. I'll let everyone here say goodbye. I guess they're Cammy. I was about to read off. This is Cammy, Vixen, Jordan. So this is Cammy, Dridden, Vixen, and Rook with Mostly Harmless. And we'll see you out on the battlefield.
On the battlefield.
Lounge.
Lounge.